glad. Well, it is 8:03. And as of right now, 4 of the people on this call already have a Healy, and Dee desperately wants to get her Healy, but we're working out the details of what kind of Healy and how much her family is willing to like share in. Like I said, I had 2 or 3 people, I can't remember this, said they could not make it today out of I think 14 total. So, but they're TikTok people, so they're not always the most reliable. But for the sake of connection through universal consciousness and humanity's existence on the earth, will everyone please type in the chat where you're tuning in from today? Just so we all know where everyone is. I already know where all of you are, but not all of you know each other. So I need to make sure that y'all are friends, not just my friends, because then y'all feel awkward. Costa Rica. Oh, right. Kelowna. Lizzie, I'm familiar with this long waiting for text back. It's very painful. So this one time, Lizzie and I were talking and I had sent her something. I would say it like it's a level 6 of 10 importance. And she opened it and read it. And then she was off. And like 30 minutes later, I was like, first of all, this is why I have PTSD. You abandoned me right now. You left me on red. And we had this whole hilarious thing there. It was literally 5 minutes. It was so funny. But I'm always telling people, I'm like, you should have your red receipts on, because like on Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram, it's required. You can't pick to have your red receipts on or off. But on, iPhone, you can be, super discreet, like discreet, and I hate it. and so, yes. D, you didn't text in. D, are you still there? I know where you are. You're in North Richland Hills, but it wasn't in the chat. Well, I'm so glad that all of us text me then. My red receipts are off there. Lizzie and I are like long lost brother and sister. Like we would have been such good friends and then not friends and then best friends and then enemies and then friends again if we were to be friends for the last 35 years of our life. So I'm so glad all of you came. My name is Lucas. All of you know who I am. I am the owner, founder, CEO, head coach of Remastering Your Life. And tonight we're having a Zoom meeting about the Healy. Which, as of now, I'm gonna mute you, D. That's not okay. I'm muting. Yes, I don't want you to cough. And we're talking about the Healy tonight. And for those of you who already have a Healy, I'm sure you have a testimony or a reason why. Lizzie used her mom's Healy, which I think her mom was the first person to buy a Healy from me. And then she used it for like a week when her mom was like, I don't want to deal with this right now. Now her mom has her Healy back and she's been using it from what I understand. And Lizzie just bought one. So I'm super excited. We're going to start tonight with Celeste. She has a PowerPoint presentation about the background behind Healy and the creator of Healy, a bit of a story. And then Celeste, if she feels led, will give you her testimony and her sacral yes. Then I'm going to pass the mic to Kiki. Kiki is the head of the 3 of us when it comes to spirituality and what you can do with the Healy in terms of spiritual work. And then finally, it'll come back to me. And then everyone has one. So as of right now, it'll just be D. So if you want a live demonstration of what the Healy says for you, you can, but you've also used it. So at this point, it's a Q&A and a bit of information. And so I hope everyone enjoys the presentation tonight. With that in mind, I'm going to mute my microphone because I'm not important anymore. And I'm going to pass it to Celeste.
Can I have co-hosting rights? Did you give me co-hosting rights? I want to make sure I can share the screen. Please. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm just looking for a PowerPoint, trying to be super, formal here. Well, sometimes it's good for it all to come across super professional.
It's nice to practice formal, so that's what I'm trying to do with the opening.
Is that
I'm
showing
like,
up for you guys?
Yes, we can see it as part
is
of
that
the
working for you guys? That is part of the window. Okay.
I wonder if you can make it full screen.
Does that help if I make it a bit
It just
bigger?
got smaller.
Full screen. For some reason, it takes you guys out of the mix when I do that.
So Celeste, I want you to stop sharing.
Let me see.
Celeste. push
Yeah.
stop share. And then I
Yep.
want you to make that window on your own
Okay.
full screen. And then go back to Zoom
Okay.
and then share the screen, and it should make it full screen.
Okay.
I've gone through that before with PowerPoint slides in my
Okay. Let's
teen and
try.
Reiki
Look at you, Mr.
classes.
Techie.
Well, it comes from 3 months
Okay.
in a class a week screwing a lot of things up. So, yes, my failures lead to your accomplishments, I hope. But, people love to ignore you until they're on their face bleeding,
Okay.
begging for help. But, each their own.
Okay. This should do it. Let me see. Let me
Yes.
see. Let me see. Okay. And then I'm going to bring you guys. And then.
No, it should do it.
Okay. I got this, guys. Bear with me. I've done this so much too. Window. Got this. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Good enough. It's better.
Okay. Is that full screen? Yeah. Okay. It's weird for me. So I'm not gonna be able to see you guys. I'm in the PowerPoint. I mostly just want you guys to see this. Okay. Healy. Healy has been, I guess we're probably coming up on 5 years at this point. And even though it feels like sometimes we're talking about it and it sounds like it's super familiar right now, Healy is actually brand new. And Healy came into existence from a man named Marcus Schmieke. And so Marcus is actually a quantum physicist. And he has been one of those absolutely smart minds. And he invented and came across frequency technology. But he wanted to test it out in the spiritual realm and actually became a monk for it was either 10 to 12 years and to test what this technology could do in the spiritual realm. So he is what we call the bridge between science and spirituality. We, some of the people on our team recently, well, I guess last May, met him in person, and they swear he's a time traveler because it was that kind of interesting to even talk and communicate with him. You could just kind of see where he was at. But when it comes to this device and where it came from, Marcus is kind of, for me, the trust that I have in what we're using. And so when he did come out from being a monk and came out with this technology, came up with Time Waver, and Time Waver were these big, huge machines that were actually all through the UK. And so people would go and get their treatment every 3 weeks, every month. You would make an appointment. You would go get your microcurrent frequency medicine. And what he decided why he came up with Healy is because he said, what if everyone could do this on their own at home every day and didn't have to wait for an appointment? So that was mostly his reason for coming up with this small, cute little package device. Christian is the investor. So he is the one that has put the money behind Healy. And he was also at this, at Healy's big, huge conference last September. And they thought he'd get up there talking about financing and the economy and money. And he presented on astrology and how it is basically written in the stars right now for what Healy is doing for humanity. And that's our money guy. So it's a completely unique two heads that have brought this device to us. I can quickly just kind of, so those are the founders. I'm hoping that these are working. I like to always show this slide so that we remember what we are. We look like these physical bodies, right? We are tissues and organs, and those are made up of cells, which are made up of molecules, which are made up of atoms, which are then subatomic particles, which are then energy, frequency, and information. And even then, I just did a post on one of my stories today that even the atom is like something like 99.999% air. So if you think about how much space we actually all are, and what that means is that everything is vibrating. Absolutely everything is vibrating, which means everything is a frequency. Every thought, every emotion, every organ in our body. And so Healy analyzes our bioenergetic field and scans us for what might be out of alignment. And yes, it will pick up on things that sometimes, almost every time, it will pick up on things that we are not aware of or that we are aware of. And then it will recommend programs to bring us back into coherence. And so that is the uniqueness of Healy. I'm going to stop sharing and just tell a little bit about with my story. And there are other frequency devices out there, but what is completely unique to Healy is the quantum sensor aspect. We are the only ones that have it, that will do the scanning and tell you what is coming up. And so even an example that I just did even last week here in Costa Rica, because this also goes through the quantum. This is going through, and with our intentions and with our thoughts and going through the quantum field, we are now reading anybody, even when they're not with us. And my mom had just come back from getting some cancer cells removed from her nose, and she had a big scar on her nose. And she has a Healy at home, and she said, "Well, what program should I run?" And so I said, "Well, she doesn't know how to do the scan." So I said, "Let me do the scan." And the first thing that came up was skin. It kind of blew my mind, but there we are. It came up with exactly what I knew she was going through. Recommended 2 different skin programs for her, so she was able to run those. So that's Healy. Healy came into my life completely. I didn't realize I'd called it into me. I didn't actually realize it at the time. I've been with a direct marketing company before. I didn't expect to join another one. And then about a year and 4 months ago, so it would have been July, a year ago, someone came to me, a friend of mine, and just said, "Have you heard of frequency medicine?" And honestly, my first gut reaction was, bullshit. Seems too good to be true. How is that even possible? And I kind of just didn't think that it could be real. And then I looked into it, and then I realized how valid it is. And I realized that I'd called it into me because I also have a personal mission to raise the consciousness of this planet. And if that is something that I am called to do, well, what better way than to help introduce a device that can bring us back into coherence? And so it meets you where you're at. If you need physical help, because remember too, our consciousness and many of the blockages we have in life are actually still stored in our organs. So if you're looking for kidney support or liver support, and I've got a story, a fabulous testimonial of my neighbor with her fatty liver, like if you're looking for anything within the physical body, there are frequencies to support you, and the testimonials are through the roof. I needed it a lot for my anxiety and how it helped me mentally, and then emotionally, let alone spiritually. And I even just did a post today where I shared my 3 favorite things, and they wouldn't have been what I expected why Healy is my 3 favorite things. But the first one was how much blockages have been removed from my field. I am someone that meditates. I'm someone that does affirmations. I am someone that does mirror work. I am committed to mindset. I am committed to so many things to up level my life and to make quantum leaps and to manifest my dreams. Hence why I am even living a life that I am right now, which is with my family and my 2 dogs in Costa Rica. And I've done all that, but Healy has accelerated the process so much more quickly and brought to the surface so many things that I just didn't know about or could not see. Sometimes to my own not wanting it. So you, even in the app, you can put in the sensor, you can put in your goals. And I would put in my goals. And a year ago, it came up with my father issues. I was not very happy with Healy about this. I'm like, I thought I dealt with this, but this is what it does. And so it has brought forward so many of the resistance that I couldn't see myself, then removed those blockages to allow me to up-level my life. So that is like number 1. Number 2 is the microcurrent and what it does to our organs and our cells and how it turns it over. Because again, we're vibrating, right? So all our cells, and it's turning it over at 500% more than it would without. And I know I have never been this healthier. This has contributed to weight loss. This has contributed to not being sick. Actually, I haven't been sick in over a year. My family, like the microcurrent is a game changer when it comes to basically what I call cellular healing from the inside of our bodies out and allowing us to shine. And 3 was also the empowerment that it's allowing me in my house and in my family, that I don't feel like I need to rely on external people or places to support me in my health. I feel like the first place I go every single time is my Healy, which will either give me an answer for maybe what is going on, or if it is not for that, I know that then I'm like, I'm feeling this, and I can just intuitively grab a program and feel empowered to look after my health within my own home, and with my kids, and with my dogs. So that's kind of my top 3. That's been my experience. I could go on forever because, again, as we know, we can't stop talking about it because there's just that much. So I will just leave it at that, Lucas. Back over to you.
Well, Celeste, I love hearing your story every time. And you're one of us that, like, you've literally upplanted your life and you're out living this dream life of exploration. And Healy helped you do that. And so I'm just amazing. Cool. Kiki, I want you to take us to woo woo land as far as you can, because Dee Pollock is a licensed Reiki master, hashtag us. And then Lizzie is also considering getting involved in Reiki. So I'd like you to take it as far as possible. You say whatever you feel like, and if words don't make sense, they can text me later.
Thank you. Hi, guys. That's awesome that you guys are doing Reiki or considering it. The first Reiki treatment that I ever had, it changed my life forever. I remember being on the table and I actually had to open my eyes. I asked her, like, what's going on? And I was spinning. I said, I'm spinning, I'm gonna get sick. And I felt nauseous, and she said, okay, you can open your eyes. And then I opened my eyes, and when I closed them again, I started spinning again. I said, what's happening? And she goes, it's your spirit guides. They're moving really fast. You're going to move really fast in the next 10 months. And you're basically going to do like a 4-year cycle in like 10 months. So she says it's the time speeding up. So that changed my life forever, because from there on in, everything changed. And this was the same, I don't know if it was in that same treatment that she said, you will be working with technology in the future. And I'm like, no, like, I do not do technology, sister. I can barely get my phone running. It's not. And she's like, no, you will. And she said, it'll be a frequency device that's going to heal the world through frequencies. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I kind of just took it with a grain of salt. And she says, remember the word scalar. I'm like, okay. And so then 6 years later, I just through a series of like super random events that all lined up within 24 hours to get me to this place where they were presenting the Healy, which I had no idea. I don't strategize anything in my life. I don't even really pay attention. I say yes to what feels good. I didn't even know what I signed up for. I was on my way there and I literally had no idea. I heard the word frequency. I think I heard sound bath, and I was like, yeah, sure, sounds good. And so I just ended up there, and they dropped the one word that I was supposed to remember that didn't even occur to me until I heard it again: scalar. The fact that it works on quantum scalar waves. And up until that point, I had been working on Vancouver Island with some really, really powerful psychics, some really powerful healers, and had an actual transmission, a download from a shaman on the island who, for whatever reason, I'm still to this day like humble at heart. I have no idea why she chose me, but before she passed away, she said, like, I need to pass down what I know onto you. And so I had this really, really incredible experience where I felt like I was levitating. My whole body was filled with this crazy energy. And so from that point on, that was like a pivot point from, our sort of narcissistic 20s, where we're just doing what we want to do for us and for fun and stuff. And it just shifted entirely to, I'm in service to humanity, and I get to use my psychic gifts that are just being uncovered again to help humanity ascend. And then I got, all of these downloads and all of this information started coming in about how we're ascending and how we're shifting through different frequencies right now. COVID happened and we saw like this super polarization of everything and just complete chaos. And the first thing that I did was tune into my inner being, and I asked, like, what is this and what's it all about? And my inner being said, there's nothing to fear. It's all good. We're going through a shift right now. Some people are, shifting, others are going to stay the same. And so I started getting a lot of visions for humanity about sort of these diverging timelines. And I started to understand that if we raise our vibration and we raise our frequency, that we are creating the new paradigm, that we're stepping into the new paradigm. And I feel like, some of like it's starting to become more mainstream, but a lot of the people back then were just real trailblazers at it. And it even took me a little while to sort of come out of the spiritual closet. But my whole purpose in life was, just like Celeste said, to raise the vibration of this planet. And working one-on-one with people, I'm like, how do I do this? I want to help more people. And then when the Healy came into my life, I was like, this is the token. The age of Aquarius has opened up. We are being blessed with technology coming in, and this technology was it. And this, if I can just get this into the hands of people around the world, then they can, instead of being dependent on a healer, they can work in their own energy between source and raise their vibration and heal, like truly heal, because that's what the world needs right now, is we need to heal. And I noticed that when I started to heal, my entire reality changed. I went from unrecognizable, like past, to who I am now. And that is the main central intention here. And when I met the other people in the Healy community, it was like, these are the people that have also tapped into the quantum, that are receiving the same message from source, that are all these light workers, light beams, just popping up, and their light bulb is going off all over the globe. And I saw this grid being like overlaid onto the planet, and these frequencies. And Marcus Schmieke, when he addresses all of us in our talks and stuff, he often says, anybody who has a Healy, please run coherence frequencies, because if we all around the world run coherence frequencies, we are creating this blanket, this grid of frequencies all over the world. And I just look at like the entire earth just like glowing and moving through the frequencies up into the fifth density, and everybody healing on an individual basis, but that's our token into the collective to heal as a whole. And I too, I've never wanted to be part of like a network marketing company. It just gave me like ick vibes from day one. I had this crazy aunt who would like run after people in church, and people would scatter when they seen her. And I was like, I want nothing to do with that ever. I also don't like pressure. I don't like taking any advice or I don't like authority in my life. I like to be by myself, independent. I want to figure things out my way. And I also don't want the pressure, and I don't like business. And I realized that I don't like business because I don't like business that was built on the old paradigm. I love this business that's being built on the new paradigm. And I didn't quite know if it existed until I found the Healy and until I met the people in Healy. And when I did go to Portugal, I met 300 others who, it was like the business was a byproduct. It was like the main focus was like, we're thriving. We are envisioning the new earth for people and where we're going, and raising our vibration and helping people heal. And that was the most important thing. And I've always been able to really feel energy, and any Reiki therapists or any healers are very sensitive to energy. They know things based on their frequency within. They know things based on a resonance. So first you spend a lot of time alone, or you have a practice where you find your resonance within. And then if anything external in your life does not match up to that inner resonance, it's a no for me, sis, right? Or it's a sacral chakra fuck yes. And so it's like, we don't need reasoning anymore. We're working with the quantum, we're working with frequencies and resonance and stuff. So there's also no good or bad. It's just not a vibrational match to me or you, right? And so the Healy is like a relationship like this. This is between you and source. And I wouldn't have believed in it. I thought it was too good to be true. But over the last year and a half, it's deepening my connection. And there's been nothing that has come up that has like, I knew it. It's just deepening that for me. And I can normally sniff out, idiosyncrasies or something that's off. I can sniff out like that, but it has never, ever been anything like that. The more I work with it, the more I find out about the people behind it, the more I meet people with Healys, the more I see what it's doing to our community. And I just wish that everybody was going to be part of this. And I believe that everybody will in the future. I do. But that's the main focus is like, if we can just get this into the homes of people, because it's so deep into spirituality. I use that I play in the Blue app a lot, which is all the spiritual and energy work and the manifestation and the collapsing timelines and the working things out of the energetic field before they even get into the physical body. That has been the biggest for me. Because it's like, why should we wait and hit crisis mode when we can, if you're a healer, or if you're an energy, a Reiki healer, you can tune into people and you can see that there's things that are stuck in their vibratory field that need to be cleared. If they don't get cleared, they manifest into the physical body. So us being like 1% actually physical and like 99%, not physical, we're working with that. We're working within that. And I think that's the most powerful thing, is that I have always known that if we get up into the energetics, that's where our power is. If it comes down into the physical realm, it's already old news. It's already funneled down into the last physical form of manifestation. And we have barely any power at that level. We always have to go back up to the spiritual and energetic realm to move things. And that's where we're the most powerful. And that's what the Healy has really taught me in the last year and a half.
So it's really funny. So Kiki, I've heard your story like 3 or 4 times, and I get chills at different moments every single time. You just make it so straightforward, even though it's hooey. So I just love it so much. Before I go into a few scientific details, does anyone, Brandy, D, or Lizzie, have any questions so far for Kiki, Celeste, or I? Counting down from 7.
Right
6,
into the
5. Right, of course, in the chat. I was implying that psychically. I figured everyone here would just get it because everyone's just so intuitive. Okay, cool. So just a reminder, I'm going to go with one answer is good. The Healy has access to over 10 point, I heard 4 the first time. Everyone keeps saying 1, so we'll go 10.1 million frequencies. On top of that, if you buy the Pro, it comes with 229 pre-installed programs that are, I like to give this in layman's terms. You can think about the Healy kind of like a song creator. And when you go and play that song, it plays specific notes that reharmonize you, just like a piano tuner, with what it is you're trying to achieve. And when you use the Blue app, which is not pre-organized, it's where it scans you, it's just like a choir teacher saying, sing C# sharp and you sing something between C and C sharp, and she's like, raise it up. It's the exact same thing. It sends whatever program group you want. Like last night I did sleep. It takes all the sleep cycle, all the sleep programs. It sends all those frequencies, just not 10.1 million, whatever the number is. It sends those frequencies into my body. And then based on how my body responds, whether it's in tune or not, it selects what you need and what percentage of strength and change you need to up that note. And that alone is just, it's mind boggling. And, if you don't know me, which I think everyone but Brandy, you see me on TikTok live, but Dee and Lizzie have heard me ramble, and Celeste and Kiki have definitely heard me ramble. But it's like, I'm a very even mixture of, I want scientific proof that this exists because my brain is very powerful and has a very strong personality. But at the exact same time, my inner emotional self and my energetic self, they want to feel the yes, and trying to find the marriage of the scientific and energy, it's almost impossible for me. I'm super like, no, I don't care about you. Leave me alone. This makes no sense. But with the Healy, as I study more and more, and I still feel like an idiot, honestly, when it comes to what you can learn about this, there's so much to learn. But the more I study it and the more I look into what all the frequencies mean and how the device works, it just keeps deepening my faith, both intellectually and emotionally, to the fact that this device works. And, I'm going to give a brief testimonial. I chased Healy for 6 months, but I was like, I'm not paying even $500 for this. I'm going to use YouTube meditation tracks. I'm going to keep using my crystals. I'm fine. And after multiple times of people trying to shove it in my face and me saying, go away, I think it was Kiki. She's like, hey, we're doing this little Zoom. Come to this Zoom. And I was like, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for you. I like you. I'm going to follow you. So I followed it in, and literally I'm super sensitive. If any of you know me, I'm so sensitive. It's stupid. I wish there were pills. But 10 minutes before it even started, I could feel this burst of energy, and I was like, what's going on? And it was something I'd never felt before. And then when the Zoom started, to be honest, I actually had high anxiety. I got so much anxiety that I was like, I don't want to be here. I shouldn't be here. And all that was on my head was, if I leave right now, Kiki's going to message me. I don't want to explain myself. This isn't worth it. So I stay. And as I'm counting all the Healys in the room, there was like 10. I was like, this is why I have anxiety. There are 10 strong energies in front of me right now. I don't know what to do. And about minute 12, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there, all of a sudden there was a click. Like I clicked into place, and I was like, I feel really calm, but really energized. What's happening? And that was my sacral yes. And so that was when I was like, I feel this. I've been studying it for 6 months. I'm just going to go ahead and invest. Just do it. And I was expecting a 4-star review out of 5. And at this point, I would give the Healy a solid 7.5 to 8 stars of what I was expecting, because the longer you use the device and the more you expand it, not just for yourself. I use it for my plants, my house, my grandmother. The other day, my mom was being a complete and total jerk. And I was like, you're in my Healy. I'm going to scan you for programs right now. I'm going to send you crystal healing. The amount of connection I've found to everything in my life just keeps getting bigger and more profound. And so at this point, there are no words. And every time Celeste, Keeker, and I've had one of these events, it's the 4th or 5th time we've done this total, not Zoom. Every time I always run out of words, because there are no words. You can go and study as much as you want. You can feel as much as you want, but you will not know the power the device has for your life until you're using it. And that's where the real profound timeline, as the hoo-hoo people say, that's when you hop off your current timeline and you go to a different one. And then all of a sudden there's different paths. And it's amazing. But the reason why all of you are here is because I've been bragging up the fact that we're having a huge sale right now at Healy. It happens once a year, and you'll see other good sales throughout the year, but the sales that have happened this month, and they do it in waves. Healy, I'm sure, is very intuitive with how they figure out how to do it, but they do it in waves. It's like, there's a sale for 15 days, then we'll extend for 5 and start a new one. And then we'll have a little 1-day thing. And then we'll call you one day and say, hey, we have 100 devices for 70% off. If any of you want them, there's only 100. Healy, I don't know what they're doing back there in their back office, but they obviously know what they're doing. And so, but that's why you're all here. There's a huge sale and we want all of you to participate. The last part, because my friend Lizzie, I love her. She is an examiner. She wants to know everything. And she had a huge resistance in the beginning of like disbelief, but she finally decided to give in. And Lizzie, if you want to like tell us, after 2 months of me shoving it in your face and bringing it to your business and talking about it nonstop and all my content, and your mom buying one, why did you finally buy your Healy? What was your main reason? And we're left on red. Oh, sorry. That was my satanic laughter. Where is she? Lizzie, are you alive? I love that description. Oh my God, go Lucas. Okay, so Lucas, yes. Okay, I gotta tuck the kid in. Give me a minute. Oh, God, impatience. Okay, ramble. Downloading energy right now. What should you talk about?
I
Oh,
wanted to say, Lucas, that was
yeah.
honestly like you describing the notes. Like, because I've never figured out how to be able to articulate like the difference also of the pink app to the blue app. Like that was
It's notes on a
beautiful. And
scale.
it gave me a visual. And it gave me a visual and the tuning.
The tuning.
That was
Well, and
brilliant.
because
Brilliant.
a lot of people don't know this, but I started as a choral musician, and then I became a pianist, and then I became a gymnast and a dancer, and then a Reiki master. And all of my training throughout the years all began on tone. It was all about toning and tuning in. And even when I was like in 2nd or 3rd grade, I was kind of the jerk in the first row that would turn around, can you sing on pitch, please? Because I always had perfect pitch. And so now when people lay down on my table, I'm familiar with what the heart is supposed to feel like. I know what note that is. So when I reach in, I'm like, oh, your heart's kind of flat. You must be depressed. So I'm glad, because I love dumbing things down, because sometimes people start talking like with Kiki. I understand all of her language, but for the first like 2 or 3 years, I was like, timeline shift, quantum mechanics, collective humanity. What is all this BS? You need drugs. That's what you need to find Jesus.
Well, that's even the whole conversation with frequency. Like, I know it's just a matter of years, just a few years, that all of a sudden it will be mainstream language,
Yeah,
that
it
we're
will be.
all using these words and everybody will
Yep.
understand what we're talking about. But at the moment, we need other words that we've used in our past to help explain what we're trying to articulate.
Exactly.
And I also think the best thing you said too is about that you have to use it. Like we only now know. I only know now what my body is now is not what it was.
Well, and the other day you posted a
it.
picture of yourself from like a year ago to now, and there was not just a distinct change in your facial expression, it was also your skin. Like your skin literally changed texture. And I mean, like, I'm telling you, well, like James and Grandma got sick, and normally in the 4 years we've lived together, I get sick first, and then they get sick. But this time, James got sick, like a week and a half. Grandma got sick. And the whole time, I'm like, I'm going to get sick. I'm going to get sick. And I'd be like, no, I have a Healy. I did not catch nothing. Nothing.
Right?
And it's because our body won't hold it.
I know. And it's turning over. Like the cells are just like quick, like to health.
To health.
Like, to optimal coherence, like in their thriving state.
The only time that I got sick since I got my Healy was when I came back from Mexico, which doesn't make any sense because everybody else was like out there partying their asses off. And Eric and I were like not drinking, we were relaxing, we were chilling. And so it was actually like a really downtime type of trip for us. But when we came back, I got really sick and I was in bed for like 4 days. But I knew that it was an energetic thing. And I knew that I had to get purge. I was purging dense energy. And it's like, I knew that. And I was lying in bed and I was like, this is pretty crazy that for the first time in my life, I'm looking at me getting sick, not as like, oh, I'm sick again, but like, this is good. Like I'm purging, I'm letting out the lower, denser, like vibratory frequencies out of my body. All of the lower vibratory matrix is getting dissolved. And sure enough, after that, I knew that I would quantum leap into the next level. And so I did.
You know what's really interesting? And I'm just making this up, guys. So this is me and my hoo-hoo science. I have a theory. Say something happens to you in a person and it's like a completely shit day. You hate yourself and you decide to go home and binge eat. Okay. I'm convinced that because we're in a lower vibratory state, as we eat that food, there's a connection to it and it actually gets lodged inside your body. And until you let it go, or you have a doctor go in and cut it out, it literally stays there. And just like anything with gravity, it collects more and more and more stuff until it becomes a tumor, until it becomes cancer. And so, like, for those of us that are on the healing journey, I'm going to break y'all's bubble, okay? There's still stuff inside your body that's more than a decade old that you ate. It's rotten and you're still trying to cleanse it out. Like, it's still trying to go away. And when you get devices like this, it shakes it. It shakes it off your body, which then releases toxins into your body. You get sick, which is now, like Kiki said, when I get sick, I'm like, oh, I must have been holding on to something I didn't need. Thank you, universe. I will shit as much as you want me to. Yes, ma'am. I'm ready. Like, and so, oh, she said something. I'll read it. Okay. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm scared. I still have reservations. I'm still human. Yes, this is why I want you to be here. But I was lucky with the fact that I was able to use my mom's Healy before getting one for myself. Had I not experienced for myself, I don't know that I would have been able to do that. But the fact that I felt something was enough for me, especially after the resistance. I'm still not 100% sure. Neither am I, baby. I still to myself think, is this a placebo effect? Like, we're human. I felt, but I do know that it's something I need. Hope that makes sense. Lizzie, you always make sense to me. Yeah, and that's one thing. I'm going to throw something out here right now. I wish there were more available opportunities, which as soon as enough of us join, there will be. I wish there was more opportunities for people to actually use it. Like, actually have it in their hands, because it does take a certain level of faith to go, hey, this is real. And so I get it. I mean, it took me 6 months and I'm like out there in the astral realm. So I get it. Trial versions would be game. Yeah, I think so too. I think it'd be really cool if Healy, you could like pay them $49, non-refundable, by the way. $49. They take your credit card. If you break it, you pay for it, but they send it to you and you can use it for 7 days, prepackaged, send it back. I would love something like that. So let's all just put that in the quantum.
So as your volume grows and that kind of thing, they send you free merch. And so I literally have a box. I think I have 4 or 5 now that they sent me, and to Meg Healy's. And so, and this is not like, it's such a generous company that it's not like I'm not the hustle hard type person to like, I'm like, I'm totally unattached if you get it or not. Like, I want you to feel a vibrational resonance with it, that kind of thing. That's how I do business. But yeah, now having these extra devices, like I don't know what's 4 times. I mean, they've sent me over probably $25,000 worth of merch, if you think about it. It's just amazing. And then what you can do is you can give that to people and say, hey, try this out for a week. Right now they have a demo on the Blue app where you can choose, I think, whether you want to detox or whether you want to improve your sleep. And then they actually give you a protocol to follow. Yes, they do. It's a new feature. It's called Demo for 7 days. And you basically pick what your problem area is. And then they'll send you a protocol. Kate, run this program once a day, run this program once a day, run this program once a day. And then the next day they'll do something different. And that's basically how you can see. And it's interesting because what the root problem is to a lot of stuff isn't necessarily like what we think it is. So like a difference in like our gut bacteria or something was like, well, I'll just go straight to bacteria, right? Whereas I did the scan and it showed gallbladder, then it showed liver, then it showed large intestine, then it went to the bacteria. So I was like, okay, like who would have known that? I wouldn't normally have known that. And it saved me from going to the doctors because what do they know? And it's just insane how supported I feel with having something like this that can read me. And then even though it doesn't make sense, I trust it in it so much because then I actually kind of see the way that it deduces, and eventually gets to the root problem.
I think the biggest, I'm going to say it, I think the biggest problem, if it's that all of us have, is that no matter how hard we try, our ego does get in the way. Our experiences, our past, our history. And because of that, we're incapable of really seeing ourselves, not just like how we react and how we feel, but, we're always on a mission to do something. Even when we're relaxing, there's some sort of mission. And it takes that guesswork out. But as Celeste and Kiki, and if you watch my posts, and I have said the number of times I've done a scan and it pops up with exactly what it is that I was thinking about out of the 5 programs. Like if I've been like not eating, because I skip a lot of meals, it'll be like, oh, fasting evening. And I'm like, how does it know I haven't eaten? Like it blows my mind. And so every time I go upstairs and scan the upstairs to do like if I ever go to purify the whole space, it always pulls up animal something, I can't remember, and children playing. And if you don't know, I breed cats. And every time I've ever gone up there, it goes to children playing. And I'm like, there are my cats. Like it blows my mind. I'm doing all the programs, like every program available, and it always comes up with children playing. Blows my mind. And so, Lizzie, I'm glad you shared. Celeste, bless you. Kiki, bless you. Brandy, I got a private message that says, yep. Did I miss something? She left. Okay. Brandy, do you have any questions? Or Lizzie, do you have anything else you want to share through text that I can read for you? Because I love reading people's words. It's really funny. So every year I do Nutcracker. And every year in the first rehearsal, they always tell me, can you please slow down? Like I go so fast. And every time that there's a pause, if I ask a question on TikTok, I'm like, hey, is this resonating with you? Because I want to say more, but I want your yes first. That 5 seconds is like 5 hours. I'm just like, is everything okay? Did you have a stroke? What's going on? Are you mad? Is she even still here? Maybe her phone fell in the toilet. I had once dropped my phone in the toilet. That's like literally my life. Like I go into so much stress. Okay, good. Anyway, well, okay, cool. Lizzie, I'm glad you have your Healy. Yours should be here any moment. Like literally you ordered like 3 days ago or something. It should be here by the end of the week. And then Brandy, if you want, not really just sure what to get. Okay, so the Healy comes with the electrodes and the wristbands when you buy it, period. Kiki's wearing the electrodes on the wristbands right now. The coil is an additional accessory unless it's coming as a gift with the current one you're buying. Now, I'm kind of bougie. I'm the person who goes to buy a car and I'm like, I want 6 CD player. Not that they have those anymore. I want leather seats. I want them ventilated. I don't want to get something blah, blah. So when you ask me what you should get, I'm always going to respond with the Resonance Plus or the Pro. And the reason why is that those two are the ones that come with the Analyze app, the blue app. If you get the gold, the holistic, or the resonance, you're going to get something off of it. So like I told Dee, who's now gone, I was like, if you can only afford the holistic, get the holistic so that you can go ahead and start working with the frequencies. And as your energy and vibration raise and you start making more money and having a more profitable, abundant life, you can upgrade later. So my answer to you, Brandy, is get the most expensive one you can afford, because it's like, I know this sounds silly and I think people don't believe me, but Kiki is the one that told me to do this. So I did it and I have no problem. I stopped taking vitamins 3 months ago. I only do digital nutrition. I've not taken anything, and I'm a vitamin junkie. I spent $50 to $100 every single month getting vitamins. That's $600 to $1,200 a year. That's 2/3 of my Pro Healy. So it's like, you have to do what's best for you, but I'm going to shove you as close to the top as I possibly can when you ask. You need to go as high as possible and then upgrade later, because I promise you're going to not really just remember, okay, can you do payments? I do believe there's a new payment plan that's set up on Healy. Absolutely. Same here. I don't take any exactly. And so, yes, you can do payments. You need to go as high as you possibly can so you can get as much benefit as you possibly can. And then in a month and a half, when your life is totally upgraded and you want more and you can afford more, get it on an upgrade. And if you're a part of my Healy world, and I'm going to be telling everybody, hey, they're doing a deal right now on upgrades. Like today, it's 70% off of upgrades. So it's kind of like, it's going to happen. And so, yeah. Yes. Great.
Also,
great.
I want to
Yes.
say one more. So, I mean, I think I bought mine in September at 45% off, and then it got to 60%. I was like, damn. But I was like, you know what though? I would never have traded the last 2 months with my Healy, even for the extra 15-20% off. Like I just wouldn't have. And then I also look at it as, because it is like measuring it up to like the reference is like the yardstick that it's measuring up is your most perfect original blueprint. So you are abundant, you are prosperous, your birthright is that of abundance. The only reason that you may be experiencing anything less than that is because, one, your vibration is lower than what it should be. So you're feeling that disconnect, that separatism from abundance and prosperity. And two, because the old system where there's the middleman, right? That's like blocking people from having a direct quantum exchange with the universe. But with the Healy, it's amplifying your original blueprint. So it's amplifying your abundance, it's amplifying your prosperity. And so what you'll notice is that if you like purchase the Healy, and then after that, your life will be more abundant, more prosperous. Doors are going to open, opportunities will open, things will start clicking into place, universal synchronicities happen, and you will make your way out of the matrix, out of that old program. And a lot of the people that I see in the company now, it's like, I got a lot of free time. Like I'm leveraging energetics. I'm abundant. I get to live the life that I were actually meant to live. And now it's a question of like, what do we want to do? Like, what do we all want to do to make this world a better place now that we don't have to worry about that so much? Like now we're not so much in survival mode. And so that was like a huge thing that came into my awareness from like my own spirit guides channeled that message to me when I first bought the Healy, because I have never dropped any kind of money on anything. I'm a super skeptic. But they said like the original blueprint of you that is already these things is going to get further amplified. And I mean, holy cow, like did it ever? Yeah.
I love this. Oh my God. And as the last thing, like as a person, and even including my fiance and people that are close to me and my grandmother and everything else, I really struggle feeling like accepted and normal inside of groups. I really just struggle with it, despite the fact that everyone says now they love me, which is completely backwards of how I grew up in school. Besides that, I struggle to feel a part of something. And Kiki and Celeste, I'm sorry, Lizzie and Brandy, they're the only people in a group, because we're a little mini trio, that we message regularly, just kind of creating back and forth about Healy, about life. And it's the only time that I genuinely feel okay. Like there was one day I even got a little bit flustered with someone in one of the Healy chats, the WhatsApp chat. And when Kiki messaged me, it was like, hey, you're kind of out of line right now. Can you pull your shit back? Like, I didn't feel offended by it. I was like, you know what? She's right. I'm being emotional. It was the first time that it was just so, I don't want to say black and white because it is color, but it was just so simple to receive. And that that vibratory frequency of feeling accepted inside of a group, and like people are on the same vibe as you, and it's okay to be stupid and mess up, and it's okay to excel and beat other people. It's good. It's the first time I've felt that. And so that's all that I want for anyone that comes into my tree and goes down my legs. I just want them to feel safe. And like, it's okay to text me what's going on with you, how you're feeling, what struggles you're having today that are related to your healing. I want them to feel like it's okay. You're human and it's okay. And to finally have that, like, oh. And so that's all I got. If no one has any questions, we're right underneath the hour. Ladies, we did it in under an hour. Like, we're so professional. And so we've been practicing this as a trio. So normally we're much more laid back in our group chats. So when all of us get together, we're like, guys, we're going to be professional today. We're going to present correctly. We're going to have full screen. We're going to have audio on. Like, everything's going to work. And then God's like, we'll see. So it's been nice that we all.
I mean, because the truth is, we could have talked and rambled for like hours. So I agree. We freaking professionalized. Like 1 hour with a PowerPoint. So, yeah, we did.
So, well, thank you, everybody. And then Lizzie, congrats on your Healy. Kiki and Celeste, I'll see you. Talk to you soon. And then Brandy. Yes. If you still need the link, remember, just go to my TikTok, and at the bottom of my profile, my link tree is there. And I think it's literally labeled "Buy Your Own Healy" in like all capital letters. But if you want to text me in the meantime, you can. On TikTok, I'll be online for the next hour and maybe 15 minutes. Past then, my partner gets home, and I'm really dedicated to not being on my anything once he arrives. So yes, but the sale goes on for the next 3 days. So you got 72 in 3 hours.
Thank you for everybody that was here. I felt really good energy tonight. Really good energy. It felt really good. It was everybody that was supposed to be here was here. It was fabulous. I don't know if you're sending a replay out for anybody that couldn't make it.
Yes.
So kudos
Always
to all
replays.
Those people too. And I feel them as well. I love you guys so much. Woo! I love you so much.
All right, well, I will see you all later, and thanks for joining Ascension Accelerators in the Healy world. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.